My story begins in 1966, August 29th at 4:30 p.m. I was born to the most wonderful matriarch I have ever known, the late Priska, and the legend himself, the late Mwalimu Samson. I was born when it was raining, and that is why I was named Nafula. My name is Roslyn Nafula Wechuli. Welcome to my story.
Hi, Mama.
Hello, Nana.
Thank you for welcoming us to your story. Now, you said that you were born in 1966. Can you take us through the moment when you started meeting your parents and how your life was since you were born, your very early childhood years?
Even before we continue, by the way, the person behind the camera, the overvoice you are hearing or behind the scenes, is my small baby, the baby of the house, Nana. Nana, kindly repeat again that question.
Mama, please take us now through your early childhood from 1966 when you were growing up. How was that like?
Okay, my early childhood, I think let me start. As I had noted earlier, I was born when it was raining. That was 1966. Pretty in a normal environment. Of course, then there used to be dispensaries. There were never big hospitals. And I was born in a complete family unit, a dad and a mom. And I was given that name as I have said earlier, Nafula. Nafula is named when you're born during the rains.
Sorry to cut you short. You said you were born in a complete family unit.
Yes.
Was there a sibling?
Yes. There was already my big sister, who was I think a year before me. Her names were Adelaide Doris. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
How was it growing up with a big sister?
The rivalry as usual. Me, I'm the most wild one. Her being the firstborn, she's calm, collected. So I used to terrorize her so much, even from the early age. But we looked like twins actually, because it's a difference of 9 months. Wasn't so much, so we seemed like twins, and I would terrorize her. But it was nice having somebody to play around with, and I enjoyed doing that because you see, growing up like us in early ages, my dad was a scholar, so the small little toys, I would always want everything for myself, and me being wild, she would end up having nothing.
Wow.
Yes, I would actually take even plus hers. So having an older sibling was actually enjoyable, like us growing up, me and her. But of course, her being my protector at that time. Yes, yeah.
You've said that your dad was a scholar. Are you able to tell us, when you started going to school, did he teach you, or did you go to a separate school that he wasn't teaching? Tell us, how was your school life like when you were small?
Now, Dad being a scholar was not a teacher in lower primary or a pre-primary school. He was a senior teacher in a boys' secondary school. Way away from people who know Mount Elgon. There was a special boys' school there. And so, of course, as a teacher, he mentored us much earlier. And I'm so proud to say that our starting school life, we were pretty young. I was barely 2 years. I think I was doing my second year, and my sister was 2.5, just going into 3. So mentoring us much earlier and just showing us that it was actually good to begin our school life. Yeah. And we were not actually in the same school, because you see, him being in a senior school, we had to be taken in a then it was I think preschool, no, play group. It was a play group, then a pre.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to do pre-1, and then play, nursery, and then pre. So we quite traveled. There was a distance from the school where he was, so there wasn't like Mount Elgon. Actually, you wouldn't find very good schools. So then there was His Highness the Aga Khan had just launched an academy. Yeah, like how many kilometers from where Dad was? About 12 kilometers. Yeah, so there was that academy that was coming up, and it was purely for the elite.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it is the Indians, because there was actually again another factory that was just coming up in that area, and that school was for the elite Indians, and then of course the elite. So we were privileged actually to join that special school. It was called Aga Khan Academy. Yes. So we went in that school, very young people, very young. Yeah, very young.
Yeah.
Yes.
And did you study your whole primary school life in the Aga Khan or Academy, or did you move? How was that like?
After 3 years into the academy, I think then we were going to do the pre-3. Yeah, the pre-3. Dad was relocating from that boys' school to further his studies. So we were actually moved out of the academy, and we had to go into boarding school. Yeah, unfortunately. So as young as we were, just going into standard 1, we moved into a boarding school called Lugulu Mixed Boarding School. Yeah, Lugulu Primary Mixed Boarding School, yes.
Before people think that Lugulu is in a very fancy, bougie African village, please tell them exactly where you were. Which village were you from?
This school is in Western Kenya, now Bungoma County, and actually it's not in the bush. If you've heard about Webuye Township, then the pan paper milling factory had actually just been put up or established.
Oh.
And so many people were actually moving into that town. It was very vibrant by then.
Yeah.
And as we know, of course, as people come into the factory, they also want to have better schools. And you see, the Aga Khan is farthest. Aga Khan is almost, Mount Elgon is very far from the Webuye Township. It's about almost 100 to whatever kilometers, so it's actually far. So you find that now the school that was coming up very fast, the Lugulu boarding school and the Lugulu high school, which I later on joined, I'll tell you more about that. It is actually on the highway, so it's not in the bush. It's actually the main highway of Webuye, Kitale, Lodwar. Yes, highway. So it is actually not bush. It's not a bush. It's in Bungoma County, and it was a beautiful tier. I think it's a 3rd tier. Yeah, very special school.
Was there any cultural change from when you left the Aga Khan to this boarding school? Was there a difference in the type of students, in how you used to go to school, in their school culture? Was there a difference that you observed when you were small?
Yes. Yeah. Culture shock. Because remember, the Aga Khan is a special school for mostly the Indian and the elite. Now, even the dressing, the teachers, you see, it's just, we are not many in a class. Here in academy is a special school, so like we were only, the maximum allowed were only 10 children. Should I say children or toddlers or whatever?
Yeah.
So we're actually 10, and you see that's a very small group. Like you can literally know each and every person, and then you see the teachers had an easy time. So like us mingling around in that school was so easy. You can imagine moving from that private school to Lugulu boarding. That's a public kind of environment. And then remember, in the academy, we are going to school and just being picked to go and live in a private house, not even a hostel. It's like now we were given a nanny who is my auntie and would literally take care of us as if it is our mom doing that, exactly that. So you see, like it's a very special kind of care. Now moving to Lugulu boarding primary, it was a culture shock. Remember there, we are so many in a classroom. We are now graduating from 10 children in a class to almost a class of 30. And then teachers, you see, there we're communicating in Aga Khan, there's even the language barrier. Because you see us, sometimes you talk the local dialect, and it's like we're not understanding, because the Aga Khan, because of the mixed races, we are purely not even Kiswahili. It is purely English, and those who can speak Indian or French. Okay? But now to the Lugulu primary boarding, we have the Swahili now has popped up. Ruya somehow has popped up because of the ground staff. We are sleeping in a dormitory, yes, and there are so many beds. Like sometimes we'll stand and start gazing at everything. We have to go with suitcases. We even literally don't even know what is supposed to be put there. So we had to actually grow up. Okay, we are showering in a public place. Yeah. The Aga Khan, we don't see those things. And when we go back to weekends when we are going home, it's a private home. It's a setup. But here now, it was a complete culture shock. But because we are young, adapting was easier. Yeah, because the metron now, you see, we have somebody who is taking care of us, and then of course the metron. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was bad. Actually, withdraw. In fact, my sister was, because me, I'm wild. Like I can run around, but my sister, like, she just couldn't.